After I refused to give my mom my first paycheck, she sobbed, "I sacrificed everything for you." Then I found out she took out loans in my name. "Pay them or I will." The bank Thr-atened. I didn't. She was arrested for fraud. The envelope felt heavier in my hands than it should have. My first paycheck. Proof that I had finally stepped into adulthood. Independence. Freedom. I took a deep breath before tearing it open. The crisp paper inside, nearly shaking between my fingers. $1,532.76. After taxes, after deductions, after all the hours I had poured into that soul-sucking retail job. It wasn't much, but it was mine. And then, her voice. "You got paid today, right?" My mother stood in the doorway of my room, arms crossed, her gaze fixated on the check like it belonged to her. I already knew where this was going. "Yeah," I said, slipping it into my pocket. She didn't even try to be subtle. "Let me see." I clenched my jaw. "Why?" "Because I raised you, fed you, keep a roof over your head. That money," she pointed at my pocket, "isn't just yours. It's ours." A slow burn started in my chest. I worked for it, and I worked for you. That's when the tears started. Not soft, silent ones, but loud, ugly sobs. The kind meant to suffocate me in guilt. "I sacrificed everything for you, and you can't even," she gasped between hiccups. "I put you first your whole life." I had seen this performance before. The trembling hands, the shaking shoulders. But this time I didn't cave. I swallowed the lump in my throat and said, "I'm keeping it." Her sob stopped. She stared at me, red-eyed and furious. And for the first time, I saw something cold, something dangerous beneath her grief. She turned on her heel and stormed out. I should have felt victorious. Instead, dread curled in my stomach like a snake, warning me that this wasn't over. I just didn't realize how bad it would get. 3 days later, the call came. "Hello, am I speaking with Emily Carter?" "Yes," I said cautiously. "This is Lisa from First National Bank. I'm calling about your outstanding personal loans." My heart stills. "My what?" There was a pause. Then, the woman continued. "You have 3 outstanding loans totaling $24,300. Payment is due immediately." My throat went dry. "That's not possible. I never took out a loan." Another pause. Then a rustle of paper. "We have your signed agreements, your identification." "I never signed anything." My voice cracked. A sigh. "Miss Carter, if the balance isn't paid, legal action may be taken." Legal action. My hand shook as I ended the call. I could barely breathe. And then, realization hit me like a punch to the stomach. There was only one person who could have done this. Mom. I stormed into the kitchen, the bank's words still ringing in my ears. Mom sat at the table, sipping coffee like she hadn't just destroyed my life. "How much did you take?" My voice shook with rage. She didn't even look up. "What are you talking about?" "The loans. In my name. Don't play dumb." Finally, she met my gaze. And smirked. "You wouldn't help me," she said, voice sickly sweet. "So I helped myself." Something inside me shattered. "You stole from me," I whispered. Her smirk faded. "You think I wanted to?" I had no choice. "Bills, debts." I slammed my fist on the table. "That's not my responsibility." She leaned in, her voice low. "It is now." I felt sick. Trapped. The worst part? She wasn't even sorry. A knock at the door. We both turned. Another knock, louder this time. I stepped back, dread chilling me to the bone. Mom's smirk returned. "You should answer that." Something told me my nightmare was just beginning. The knocks grew louder. I hesitated, my heart pounding. Whoever was on the other side wasn't here for small talk. Mom leaned back in her chair, watching me like she was enjoying this. "Go on," she said, swirling her coffee. "They're waiting." My legs felt heavy as I forced myself to the door. I gripped the knob, bracing for whatever came next, and pulled it open. 2 men stood outside. Suits. Badges. One of them, a thick-set man with a trimmed beard, spoke first. "Emily Carter?" I swallowed hard. "Yes. I'm Officer Daniels, and this is Officer Reyes. We're with financial crimes. We need to talk." My stomach twisted. "About what?" Daniels glanced over my shoulder. His expression hardened. "May we come in?" I turned to Mom. She hadn't moved. Just sat there, sipping her coffee, her eyes daring me to make a scene. I stepped aside. The officers entered, and suddenly, the room felt suffocating. Daniels pulled out a folder. "We've been investigating a string of fraudulent loan applications under your name. Over $20,000. The bank flagged it as suspicious." I forced myself to breathe. It wasn't me. Reyes, the quieter of the two, finally spoke. "Do you know who might have had access to your personal information?" My eyes flickered to Mom. She set her cup down with an infuriatingly casual clink. "This is ridiculous." Daniels ignored her. "Miss Carter?" I opened my mouth. The word she did it sat on my tongue, burning to be said. Mom's gaze locked onto mine. Her eyes darkened, and I knew what she was thinking. "Say it, and you'll regret it." My breath hitched. I had spent my whole life bending to her, letting guilt keep me shackled. Not this time. I squared my shoulders. "Yes, I know exactly who did it." Daniels nodded. "Go on." Mom shot up from her chair, slamming her hands on the table. You ungrateful little... Sit down, ma'am. Reyes cut in. Mom's face twisted in fury, but she did. My voice wavered, but I pushed through. It was her. My mother. She stole my identity and took out the loans. Silence. Daniel studied me, then turned to her. Ma'am, do you have anything to say about this? Mom let out a sharp, bitter laugh. Oh, please. This is my daughter. You think I'd steal from her? Daniels placed the folder on the table and opened it. We pulled security footage from one of the loan offices. The person who signed these documents looked a lot like you. Mom's smug expression faltered. Reyes laid down a single sheet of paper. And this? I leaned over. My stomach dropped. It was a signature. My signature. Except, I had never signed it. My mother's face was drained of color. Reyes tapped the page. Handwriting analysis suggests it's a forgery. But what's interesting, she pulled out another sheet, is that we compared it to signatures from other financial records. Yours. Daniels gave Mom a tight-lipped smile. Want to explain that? Mom didn't say a word. I exhaled shakily. They had proof. But Mom never let herself lose. Her fingers curled into fists, her nostrils flaring. This is a mistake, she hissed. You can't prove I did anything. Daniel sighed, closing the folder. Ma'am, we aren't arresting you. Yet. But the bank is pressing charges. If you cooperate, this could go easier for you. Mom's jaw clenched. For the first time, real fear flickered in her eyes. I should have felt relieved. Instead, all I felt was the crushing weight of everything she had done to me. Daniels turned to me. Miss Carter, we'll need you to make a formal statement. I nodded. Okay. Mom shot up. Emily, don't. I stared at her, 1,000 emotions clawing at my chest. The woman who had raised me. The woman who had destroyed me. And she still expected me to protect her. Her voice dropped, her expression desperate. Sweetheart, we can fix this. She inhaled sharply. I'll pay it back. I laughed. A sharp, broken sound. With what? She had nothing. I had nothing. And I wasn't saving her this time. I turned to Daniels. Where do I sign? Mom let out a strangled sound. Emily, please. But I had already picked up the pen. I didn't look at her when I signed. I didn't say another word. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. Mom was still calling my name when the officers left. Still begging. Still pretending. I didn't answer. I couldn't. My hands trembled as I closed the door behind them, as if sealing away the last bit of control she had over me. Silence filled the room. Thick. Suffocating. And then, her voice. How could you do this to me? I turned. Mom stood in the middle of the kitchen, fists clenched at her sides, eyes blazing with something feral. You signed those papers, she seethed. You told them it was me. My throat burned. Because it was... Her face twisted in something ugly. After everything I've done for you? I let out a sharp, bitter laugh. You mean the lying? The stealing? Ruining my life? She stormed forward, jabbing a finger into my chest. You don't get it, do you? If I go down for this, I lose everything. My car, my credit, my future, I snapped. What about my future? My voice cracked. What about the fact that I have nothing because of you? She flinched. For a second, just a second, something like guilt flickered across her face. But it was gone as fast as it came. Fine, she said, stepping back. Her tone was cold now. Calculated. You want to play the victim? Go ahead. But don't come crying to me when you realize you just destroyed your own mother. I scoffed. You did that yourself. I turned away, heading for my room. I couldn't do this anymore. Couldn't stand there and listen to her twist this into my fault. But before I reached the hallway, she spoke again. Low. Dangerous. You think you've won? I froze. Her voice dripped venom. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. I didn't answer. Just kept walking. I locked my door behind me. For the first time in years, I didn't feel scared of her Thr-atened. Let her be angry. Let her rage. She couldn't hurt me anymore. Or so I thought. The next morning, I woke up to something worse. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Calls. Voicemails. Messages. I sat up, heart pounding, and grabbed it off my nightstand. The first thing I saw was my bank app. Overdrawn. Every dollar gone. I stared at the screen, my mind struggling to keep up. No, this isn't possible. A notification popped up. $1,500 withdrawn at 3:12 a.m. Another. $800 transferred to an external account. My chest tightened. I scrolled faster, my breath coming in short gasps. My savings. My entire paycheck. Everything. Gone. Then, a final notification. Password change request. 4:27 a.m. My blood ran cold. It wasn't a hacker. It was her. I bolted out of bed, storming into the living room. She was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone like nothing had happened. I saw red. You stole from me again? My voice was raw, furious. Mom barely glanced up. Watch your tone. I nearly screamed. You took every penny I had. She smirked. Smirked. Oh, don't be so dramatic. I needed it more than you. I was shaking. Shaking. How did you even get into my account? Her smirk widened. You're predictable, Emily. Same password since high school. Maybe be smarter next time. I thought I couldn't hate her more. I was wrong. I took a step forward, fists clenched. Give it back. She let out a mocking laugh. Or what? Something inside me snapped. I grabbed the closest thing, her purse, and dumped it out onto the floor. Cash. Her wallet. And my debit card. I snatched it up, my breath ragged. You stole this too? She shrugged. You'll survive. I couldn't believe it. She wasn't even sorry. I backed away. You're sick. Her expression darkened. And you're an ungrateful brat. I turned. I needed to get out of there. Now. Her voice followed me. I hope you know the bank isn't getting that money back, she called. It's mine now. So have fun being broke, sweetheart. I slammed the front door behind me. I sat in my car, hands gripping the wheel, trying to breathe. Tears burned behind my eyes, but I refused to cry. I had nothing left. No money. No home that felt safe. But I still had one thing. The police report. And this time, I was making sure she paid. I wiped my eyes, took a shaky breath, and started the car. I wasn't running away. I was ending this. The engine hummed beneath my fingers as I sat there, gripping the wheel like it was the only thing keeping me together. I was done. Done. Mom had stolen from me, lied to me, wrecked my life. And for what? So she could live in denial a little longer? So she could keep using me? No, not this time. I took a shaky breath and pulled out of the driveway. I wasn't going to the bank. I wasn't going to cry in a parking lot, staring at my empty account like some helpless idiot. I was going straight to the police station. 20 minutes later, I stepped inside, my pulse hammering as I approached the front desk. The officer behind it looked up. Can I help you? I swallowed the lump in my throat. I need to speak to Officer Daniels. It's about my fraud case. She nodded. One moment. A few minutes later, Daniels appeared. His eyes flicked over me, immediately clocking the stress, the exhaustion. Emily, you okay? No. I was drained. Furious. Barely holding it together. But I forced a nod. I have more to report. His expression hardened. Come with me. I followed him to a small, windowless room. Cold. Unforgiving. He gestured for me to sit. As soon as I did, the dam broke. She stole from me again, I said, my voice cracking. Wipe my account clean. Daniels frowned. You sure it was her? I pulled out my phone, opening my banking app. She bragged about it. She knew my passwords. And she had my debit card. His jaw tightened. That's enough for an arrest warrant. A sharp exhale left my lips. Good. He studied me. Are you ready for that? Was I? For years, Mom had manipulated me, twisted every situation so that I felt guilty for her mistakes. She had taught me to forgive and forget, as long as she was the one benefiting. But I wasn't that girl anymore. I nodded. Yeah, I'm ready. Daniels gave me a slow, approving nod. We'll handle it from here. You might want to find somewhere else to stay tonight. A pang of loss hit me, not because I wanted to stay, but because I had nowhere else to go. No home, no money, no safety net, just freedom and the terrifying weight that came with it. I didn't go back to the house. I couldn't. Instead, I crashed at a cheap motel, staring at the stained ceiling as the hours crawled by. I didn't sleep. Not really. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face. The fake tears, the smug smirk, the betrayal. By morning, I was running on fumes. And then my phone rang. Unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. Hello. This is Officer Daniels. A pause. We have her in custody. I sat up, my stomach twisting. Already. She made it easy. He sounded almost amused. She was home when we got there. Tried to talk her way out of it. But once we showed her the evidence, she knew she was done. I swallowed. What happens now? She's being charged with identity theft, fraud, and grand larceny. That's a serious time. I should have felt relieved. Instead, a strange hollowness settled in my chest. She was really gone. She asked about you, Daniels added. Wanted to know if you were going to fix this. A bitter laugh escaped me. Of course she did. Even in handcuffs, she thought I'd save her. I shook my head. No, I'm not fixing anything. Daniels exhaled. Good. You did the right thing, Emily. I wasn't sure what the right thing even meant anymore. But I knew one thing for certain. For the first time in my life, I was free. Daniels had said I did the right thing. So why did it feel like I had lost something? I sat on the edge of the motel bed, staring at the wall, my mind numb. Mom was in custody. I was free. But free to do what? I had no money, no home, barely anything to my name except a duffel bag stuffed with clothes and a dead phone charger. This wasn't how freedom was supposed to feel. I should have been celebrating. Instead, I was alone in a cheap motel that smelled like cigarette smoke and regret. The world had shifted under my feet, and I had no idea where to go next. By noon, I had forced myself up, showered, and walked to a nearby diner. A hot meal wouldn't fix everything, but it was something. I was halfway through a cup of coffee when my phone rang. Correction, the jail's phone line rang. I stared at the screen, my stomach clenching. I should ignore it, but I didn't. I answered. Hello. Silence. Then, her voice. You really did it, huh? I gripped the phone tighter. Yeah, Mom. I did. She let out a slow, shaky breath. You have no idea what you've done. I pressed my lips together. No, she had no idea what she had done. You're the one who did this, I said. You made your choices. You could have stopped it. I almost laughed. The audacity. Even now, even here, she thought I'd save her. I'm not your backup plan anymore. She scoffed. You think you're better than me? No, I said quietly. I think I'm finally done. She went silent. For the first time in my life, I had nothing left to give her. No guilt, no anger, just emptiness. I didn't wait for her response. I ended the call. Then, for the first time since this nightmare started, I let myself cry. Not for her. For me. For everything she had taken. For every piece of me she had broken and twisted and tried to control. For the girl I could have been. And then, when the tears dried, I picked up my phone again. Not to call her back. To call my bank. To call a friend. To start over. Months passed. Mom went to trial. The evidence was stacked against her. Bank records, forged signatures, surveillance footage. She didn't stand a chance. She was sentenced to 5 years for fraud and identity theft. I didn't go to the hearing. Didn't watch her plead. Didn't care when she turned to see if I was in the courtroom. Because I wasn't. Instead, I was somewhere else, signing the lease on my first apartment. Small, barely furnished, but mine. A place that didn't smell like her perfume. A place where no one would steal from me, guilt trip me, or make me feel like I owed them my existence. A place where I could finally breathe. I stood in the empty living room, taking it all in. This was what freedom felt like. Not easy, not perfect, but mine. And for the first time in my life, that was enough.